January 3rd, 2026. In the pre-dawn hours, a palpable tension gripped Caracas. The world watched, holding its breath, as reports flooded in of a lightning-fast military operation unfolding in the heart of Venezuela. At the center of this storm was the Miraflores Palace, the seat of presidential power. Within hours, a shocking announcement reverberated across the globe. Nicolas Maduro, the controversial leader of Venezuela, was in U.S. custody. The raid, codenamed Operation Absolute Resolve, was executed with surgical precision and bewildering speed. What was most perplexing, however, was the near-total paralysis of Maduro's formidable presidential guard and the capital's advanced air defense systems. How could one of the most heavily fortified locations in South America fall with virtually no resistance? The answer, as it would later be revealed, lay not in overwhelming firepower, but in a revolutionary and terrifying new form of technology. A weapon so secret, so effective, it had no official name. Those who experienced its effects gave it an informal, yet chillingly accurate one: the discombobulator. This is the story of that weapon, and how it forever changed the landscape of modern warfare. Operation Absolute Resolve was the culmination of years of escalating tensions and covert planning. For over a decade, the United States and its allies had pursued a policy of diplomatic and economic pressure against the Maduro regime, citing democratic backsliding, human rights abuses, and the ensuing humanitarian crisis. But as the situation in Venezuela deteriorated, a clandestine consensus grew within certain circles of the U.S. national security apparatus. A more direct approach might be necessary. Intelligence reports suggested a tightening alliance between Venezuela, Russia, and other rival powers, including the installation of sophisticated S-400 air defense systems around Caracas. This made any conventional military intervention exceedingly risky. A new strategy was needed, one that could neutralize a threat without triggering a full-scale war. The Pentagon's most secretive research and development wings, in collaboration with DARPA, had been working on just such a solution. It was a non-lethal, area-denial weapon system designed to incapacitate both personnel and electronics simultaneously, creating a temporary bubble of chaos and helplessness. This top-secret project was the key to Absolute Resolve. The plan was audacious. A small, elite special operations team would infiltrate Caracas airspace under the cover of this new technology, land at Miraflores, and extract the target before the Venezuelan military could even comprehend what was happening. In the aftermath of the raid, the accounts of those who were present at Miraflores painted a surreal and deeply unsettling picture. Members of the Presidential Guard, soldiers trained for intense combat, described a sudden, overwhelming wave of confusion. One officer later testified that he felt a crushing pressure in his head, followed by intense nausea and vertigo. "I couldn't stand," he recalled. "The world was spinning. I tried to raise my rifle, but my limbs wouldn't obey. It felt like my brain was disconnected from my body." Others reported severe disorientation, memory lapses, and a debilitating sense of panic, all without a single shot being fired. These symptoms were not just limited to the guards on the ground. Pilots at a nearby airbase, scrambling to their jets, reported similar experiences. Simultaneously, a cascading electronic failure swept through the palace and its surrounding defense network. Communication systems went dead. Radar screens turned to static. The guidance systems of the S-400 batteries flickered and died. It was a complete and total systems failure, both human and machine. One technician described it as an electronic ghost that passed through their facility, rendering billions of dollars of advanced military hardware useless. This silent, invisible force was the discombobulator in action. It didn't destroy, it simply turned everything and everyone off. So, what exactly is this discombobulator? While its exact specifications remain one of the U.S. government's most closely guarded secrets, military analysts and physicists have pieced together a plausible theory based on the reported effects. The consensus points not to a single technology, but to a sophisticated hybrid system. The first component is likely an advanced high-power microwave, or HPM weapon. HPM systems function by directing a concentrated beam of microwave energy at electronic targets. This energy surge overloads and fries circuits, effectively disabling everything from communication radios to complex missile guidance computers. This would explain the widespread electronic blackout experienced in Caracas. However, HPMs alone do not account for the profound physiological effects on the soldiers. This is where the second component comes into play: a new generation of sonic or acoustic weaponry. These devices use focused sound waves, either at very low infrasound or high ultrasound frequencies, to interact directly with the human body. Specifically, they can disrupt the delicate organs of the inner ear responsible for balance, causing the exact symptoms of vertigo, nausea, and disorientation described by the eyewitnesses. Some have even speculated a third element: a directed energy component designed to interfere with the brain's neural synapses, inducing a state of temporary cognitive confusion. By combining these three technologies, HPM for electronics, acoustic waves for physiological disruption and potentially neural interference, and mounting them on a stealth platform like a drone or specialized aircraft, the US created a weapon that could pacify an entire area without firing a bullet. It is the epitome of 21st century electronic warfare. The revelation of Operation Absolute Resolve and the existence of the discombobulator sent shockwaves through the international community. While the United States defended its actions as a necessary intervention to restore democracy and prevent a wider conflict, the global reaction was one of widespread outrage and deep concern. Russia and China immediately condemned the raid as an unprecedented act of aggression and a violation of national sovereignty, calling for an emergency session of the UN Security Council. Allies in Europe, while privately relieved at Maduro's removal, publicly expressed unease over the methods used. The German foreign minister called it a deeply troubling precedent, while the French president warned of a new and dangerous era of warfare. The core of the ethical debate centered on the nature of the weapon itself. Proponents argued that it was a more humane form of conflict, a non-lethal tool that incapacitates rather than kills, minimizing civilian casualties and collateral damage. They framed it as a moral leap forward from the destructive bombing campaigns of the past. However, critics painted a much darker picture. They argued that a weapon designed to directly manipulate the human mind and body, even temporarily, crosses a terrifying ethical line. Human rights organizations raised alarms about the potential for misuse, torture, and permanent neurological damage. The term non-lethal was heavily scrutinized. As one ethicist wrote, "To rob a soldier of their consciousness and control over their own body is a profound violation. It is an attack not on the body, but on the very essence of their humanity." The debate rages on, but one thing is clear: the rules of engagement have been irrevocably altered. The Caracas raid was more than just a successful mission. It was a watershed moment in military history. The discombobulator represents the dawn of a new paradigm in warfare: precision incapacitation. For decades, the goal of military technology has been to create more precise and more destructive weapons. The discombobulator flips that concept on its head. Its genius lies in its precision and its non-destructive nature. It demonstrates a future where conflicts might be won not by destroying an enemy's army, but by temporarily rendering it unable to fight. This has triggered a new, invisible arms race. Nations around the world are now scrambling to understand this technology and develop their own versions, as well as countermeasures, to defend against it. The focus of defense spending is shifting from building bigger tanks and faster jets to mastering the electromagnetic spectrum and bioeffects weaponry. The battlefields of the future may not be cratered landscapes, but silent zones of electronic and neurological disruption. While the long-term consequences of this technology remain unknown, the capture of Nicolas Maduro has served as a stark announcement to the world. A new chapter in warfare has begun, one that will be defined not by explosions and firepower, but by the silent, invisible forces that can turn soldiers into spectators and sophisticated defenses into worthless monuments of a bygone era. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of technology and global affairs.